NFL Week 15 power rankings. So at number 10, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars dropping on the spot. They lost to the Browns. Surprisingly, Trevor Lawrence played. Jaguars, I still think they're a good team. They held up close against a good Browns team, even though Trevor Lawrence was injured and really shouldn't have played. Jaguars defense didn't do particularly well, but this year they have a decent defense, and their offense, even with Trevor throwing 3 picks, they look good. And I think the Jaguars have the talent, even with Trevor injured. So I'm keeping them at 10. Although Trevor has to get healthy if they want to stay in the top 10. And then number 9, I have the Cincinnati Bengals back on this list. They beat up on the Colts, and that Bengals team, Jake Browning has played great these last couple of weeks. He played great against Jacksonville on what, Thursday night or Monday night, and the Bengals team looking really good right now. Their defense has played better these last couple of weeks. They shut down a good Colts offense, and the Bengals defense has been good this year, but has been just getting better these last couple of weeks. And that Bengals offense, even with Joe Burrow out, Jake Brown seems to have taken the mantle. He seems to be really good right now. Joe Mixon is looking a lot better, and Bengals, everything is turning up for them right now, so I have them back in the top 10. Number 8, I have the Cleveland Browns also back in the top 10. They beat the Jaguars, and Joe Flacco surprisingly looking really good. Browns this whole year have been pretty much a quarterback away from winning. Jerome Ford continues to be okay. Flacco has done well, and that defense, even though it hasn't been as good these last couple of weeks, they let up 27 points to Jacksonville. They're still good, and earlier in this season they were dominant, and once they get healthy I expect them to dominate again. And this Browns team also looking very good, especially with Joe Flacco playing the way he is right now. And number 7, I have the Detroit Lions staying where they are. Really concerning for the Lions right now. They lost to the Bears. I'm not sure what happened to the Lions defense. That Lions defense is stinking it up right now. Earlier in the season they looked good, but ever since Thanksgiving, even before then, their defense has looked horrible. Lions offense has been kind of hot and cold since then as well. Didn't have the best game against a bad Bears game. Didn't have the worst game. I expect more from a 9-4 Detroit Lions team. I'm gonna keep them at 7 for now since Week 14 was really weird. But they're really close to fraud territory right now. And number 6, I have the Kansas City Chiefs staying where they are, also approaching fraud territory really quickly. Chiefs, their offense has not figured it out. I think I've been saying this for the past 10 weeks, this past 12 weeks, saying that the Chiefs offense will figure it out, but at this point I'm not sure if the Chiefs offense will figure it out. Rashee Rice looking better, but outside of him, none of the other wide receivers look good, and Pacheco is now injured. That's really concerning for the Chiefs offense, and the Chiefs defense isn't as dominating as they were a few weeks ago. They're still really good, but maybe not like domination that like they were earlier in November. Number 5, I have the Miami Dolphins. They choked away a game against the Tennessee Titans. Dolphins, also similar to the Chiefs and the Lions, they fell victim to a trap game. The offense surprised me how much they were reliant on Tyreek Hill. Once Tyreek Hill left, that Dolphins offense was on neutral, which is kind of concerning for the Dolphins offense, but their running game still looked good. And that Dolphins defense, they choked in the last 2 minutes. They were playing good, and then they choked during that last 3 minutes. I'm not going to drop them too much. Hopefully it's just a weird game for the Dolphins and they'll be able to bounce back. Like I said, that defense has been trending up until yesterday's game, and same thing with the offense. But I keep them at 5 since the Chiefs and the Lions lost, and I don't trust any of those 7-6 teams yet. And then number 4, I have the Philadelphia Eagles also losing to the in embarrassing fashion to the Dallas Cowboys, similar to the Lions and the Chiefs and not really the Dolphins yet, but they have not looked good. Their defense has pretty much collapsed. I'm not sure what's going on there. Cowboys were able to throw all over them. Eagles offense has got shut down against these better defenses, and Eagles, even earlier in the season, I was still concerned about their defense. Hopefully that they figure it out. But definitely concerning for the Eagles defense specifically. Hopefully that offenses can bounce back. I expect them to bounce back, but not looking great for the Eagles right now. And number 3, I have the Baltimore Ravens down a spot. Really only down a spot because of the Cowboys. Ravens, they played against the Rams. Ravens defense didn't do that well, but their offense did great. And this Eagles team, or this Ravens team, they've got all the talent. Their offense at times looks really well. Their defense at times look really well. They just have to play with a little bit more consistency. Lamar has had a really good season. Their wide receivers are actually now decent. And that defense at times can be dominating. So they're definitely a top 3 team. They're definitely looking like a Super Bowl contender right now. Number 2, I have the Dallas Cowboys up a spot. They destroyed the Eagles. Dak Prescott is probably the MVP right now. That offense is rolling. It has been for pretty much this entire season. And that Dallas defense, although slightly concerning, they haven't played their best ball in the last month, but they did shut down a very good Eagles offense, and they are dominating at times. Dallas definitely the number 2 team right now. And teams that dropped out, you have the Colts and you have the Indianapolis Colts. They lost to the Bengals. That offense, which I praised so much last week, disappointed. Minshew didn't have his best game, and that Colts defense was, like I said, not that good. I was probably overrating them a little bit last week when I put them in the top 10. So they're dropping out this week. And the Texans, mainly for their injuries, C.J. Stroud got injured, Nico Collins got injured, and other than those 2 guys, the Texans, I don't have enough talent this year. It's a great rebuilding year for the Texans, but they just don't have enough talent this year. If they make the playoffs, they probably won't go far into it. Won't make a deep run. Number 1, I have the San Francisco 49ers continuing their win streak. They beat the Seahawks. Definitely a closer game than I think a lot of people realized. But San Francisco, they beat a decent team. The Seahawks, all their skill position players got involved. Brock Purdy's having himself a great season. That Niners defense also doing great. Everything is rolling. Everything is looking good in San Francisco land, and they're definitely the number 1 team right now. So there you have it, my NFL Week 15 power rankings.